Thanks, O Lord, for boundless mercy from the gracious throne above. Thanks to every need provided from the fullness of the land. Thanks for daily toil and labor, and for rest when shadows fall. Thanks for love of friend and neighbor, and thy goodness unto all. Thanks for thrones as well as crosses. Thanks for weakness and for health. Thanks for clouds as well as sunshine. Thanks for poverty and wealth. Thanks for pain as well as pleasure. All the same day by day, and the word of His treasure, sharing light upon our way. Thanks, O God, for home and fireside, where we share our daily bread. Thanks for us, a sweet communion, when by thee our souls are fed. Thanks for grace in time of sorrow, and for joy and peace in thee. Thanks for hope today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. Thanks for your wonderful singing, and thank you, Dr. Choi. Now I invite Dr. Wei for the further announcements.
Okay, thank you, David. And we are going to have a similar announcement. So make sure that everybody join this coming Saturday. And this is all definitely for the university, original for the faculty staff. But now we extend to the college students. I mean, you're going to be the special group of university students that are able to attend this kind of professional development training. And originally, honestly, it's just for the faculty staff, okay? But now, before you become a teacher, you'll be able to understand all these things. So make sure to join us. The topic is ethics and integrity in teaching and research. Now, it's very important that you learn as a student now, so that you'll be able to do the research and the teaching in the proper way. Okay, there's an ethics involved, and hopefully that we're going to explain a little bit about the ethics when we have the professional training. Music concert is November 30, and blink of your eyes, and the music concert is here. So make sure that you continue to sell the ticket, and make sure to get them, the community people over. We'll be able to have this opportunity to preach the gospel to them again, okay? Now, December 6th, Elaine Music Institution will come to do the recital, and graduation will be next day, December 7th. Now, December 14th, we're going to have the university banquet combined with the professional development training. And so we are still working on whether we can get a place in Kensington. Now, if we have the place in Kensington, we'll probably do that in the hotel instead of the TF Seaside Hotel. So we're doing everything in Kensington, if that's possible. We are working on that and contacting the hotel management right now. And if that's the case, then we'll go there at 9 o'clock, and then we'll start our teaching, development training, and then after that we have a banquet, and so that's the plan. Now, of course, I mean, everything can change, and this is an uncertain world, okay? But just a plan, so you can pray for that. And then December 20 is the last day of the semester. Make sure that you inform the office your plan, and this is very important. And you know, we have students never desire to contact the office, and they do that individually and liberally. But then when they face problems and difficulties, then nobody knows where they are. So a lot of high school students right now are facing this kind of situation, and particularly girls. Now, men, I mean, sometimes they have less dangers than women, okay? I mean, we have 2 girls in the past taking the taxi, and then later on, nobody can find them. 2 sisters. And we have a young student, I mean a student, high school student girl, that walking along on the road, and some people stop the car and try to grab her into the car. And she ran fast so that she is not in danger. But that happened. That's the reason why we keep on telling you, don't go alone. You always want to have 2 people to go out. Always want to inform the office so that where you are, where you go, and what happened. That is for your safety. Now, if you think that you can make your own decision and trying to do whatever yourself, and then you don't want the office and the school to protect you, well, you better write a particular document, emphasize, I will take care of myself, and I don't care whether the school want to protect me or not. Otherwise, we are obligated, and then we think this is our duty to protect your safety. And if you want to have safety, then there's a certain limitation and certain things you need to do. Otherwise, there's no protection. So girls, please cooperate. It's for your safety. And if somebody, see that you walk along and then stop the car and grab you into the car, then nobody knows where you're going. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to inform your parents? So that's a very important principle that I hope that you understand. Now, boys also, I mean, even though we have a very few boys, but girls, make sure to protect your own safety. And this is for your good, okay? Certain rules and regulations that we make is not to limit your freedom, but it's for your safety and security. So please make sure that you cooperate. And the same, when you want to leave the university, make sure that you do inform the school, so the school will be able to protect you. Okay, mission statement, let's recite together, and we'll do that the next week individually. And so make sure that we will continue to learn the mission statement. So, okay, 1, 2, 3. Eucon International University exists to provide quality biblical education in a Christ-honoring and spirit-filled environment, so that the students may be introduced to Jesus Christ, trained in godly character and spiritual discipline, and equipped to be Christian slave stewards in their society and reach their homeland for Christ in order to fulfill the Great Commission, making saints for Jesus Christ. Okay, now let's do not see the statement. Let's recite again. 1, 2, 3. Eucon International University exists to provide quality biblical education in a Christ-honoring and spirit-filled environment, so that students will be introduced to Jesus Christ, be trained in godly character and spiritual discipline, to equip the Christian slave stewards in order to fulfill the Great Commission and making disciples of all nations for Jesus Christ. Okay, wonderful. Now, make sure to recite more and not only to remember, but also apply the concept in order to reach out to the goal. And we want you to be disciple of Jesus Christ. And so you need to always remind yourself, am I more disciple of Jesus Christ today than yesterday? If the answer is no, then you need to repent and you need to return. Make sure that that is your goal for life, okay? Okay, well, we ask Mr. Wang to come to preach to us.
Okay, please turn to the book, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1, verse 1 and 2. Okay, let's read together. Let's start. Okay. The beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, as it is written in the prophets, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. Okay, today we will look about what is a gospel. Whose gospel is it? And when did the gospel start? So what is a gospel? When we think about this one, I think most of us, we can see something about the gospel. We know at least the gospel is the good news. And we know the gospel is about Jesus Christ. But, however, do you know how the scriptures to describe about the gospel? In the New Testament, there's 73 times the gospel, the Greek Eucon, appeared 73 times. But only twice to describe what the gospel it is. So let's see what are they later. First, we can see the definition, the gospel. From the dictionary, the gospel is good news and employed as the equivalent of the Greek euangelion. This word in the earlier Greek language signified a present given to one who brought good tidings, or a sacrifice offered in thanksgiving for such a good tidings having come. In later Greek, it was employed for the good tidings themselves. So from this one definition, you know the original meaning of the euangelion. It is not good news. It is a present given to who brought good tidings. That it is a surprise. Okay, but later they employed for the good tidings themselves. Dr. John Phillips in his book said, it was used in the Roman world, which so attracted Mark, to announce that a new emperor had ascended the throne. That was supposed to be the good news. Which means in the ancient time, in the Roman world, the good news, the gospel, the euangelion, it is announced, used to be as announced a new emperor had ascended to the throne. Why this one is a good news? In Chinese history, when a new emperor is to be the king of the Han country, what will happen? What will he do? Not celebrate, celebrate it is. Yeah. But that is only for himself. The good news is when he will be the king, he will have announced that most of the prisoners, they will be set free. That's why this one called the good news. Yeah, each time when the king become the king, when the emperor to ascend to the throne, they will have the first announcement. They will be announced that all the prisoners except those political prisoners, they won't be set free. But all the others, if they didn't sin very greatly, they will be all set free. They can go home. So that is good news. That's why they use this one as the good news. The interesting thing is that Mark, he employed this Evangelion as the good news for Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, he is the king. So he uses this one. It is very suitable. Let's see what is the gospel, a gospel. And many times we say the gospel is a capital G, right? What's the difference between capital G and the lowercase g? Any idea? Yeah. When you read the books, I'll read the other things. Remember, the gospel, if the capital G, that refers to the four gospel in the scriptures. When they did in the capital location, it is a normal use about the gospels. You can see the gospel of John, the gospel of Paul. Yeah, Paul always likes it, my gospel. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 13. In whom ye also trusted. After that, ye heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation. So, what is the first concept about the gospel? It is very clearly showed in this Bible verse. So, what the gospel is? Any idea? Good. Yeah. The first concept you should understand, the gospel is the word of truth. So, the gospel is truth. You should understand when we preach the gospel, you are preached the truth. The truth about the word, the truth about word, the truth about Jesus Christ, and the truth about God. Many people in this world, they like the truth, but what is the truth? Jesus announced, he is the truth, he is the way, he is the life. So, we should understand this one. The gospel is the word of truth. It is very important to our lives, to our human beings. It is not just a belief or just an idea, a theory. It is the truth. Next, let's see Acts chapter 14, verse 15. And saying, Sirs, why do ye these things? We also are men of like passions with you, and preach unto you that ye should turn from these vanities unto the living God, which made heaven and earth and the sea, and all things are therein. This Bible verse, it didn't exactly appear the Greek word euangelion, but the content had shows that ideas. So, from this verse, what is the gospel? Preach unto you, that one can be as the gospel, the same meaning. So, what's the gospel meaning? You can see this Bible verse. Turn from these vanities unto the living God. So, this gospel, it is not only about the truth, it can turn us from these vanities unto the living God. So that's why we should believe this gospel, because it can transform us from the empty, from the vanity, from those things. This is the background that when Paul and Silas, they preached to the people. And also he has driven the demons from a little girl. So they think, oh, this is God. They want to worship him. Then Paul, they said this word. Turn you from worship the false God to the living God. If this kind of a gospel, so why people won't believe? Can turn them, can make them from the false to the truth. Not only preach the truth about truth, but also can turn them from the false to truth. So, the gospel can make people turn from the vanities to the true God. Number 3. Romans chapter 1, verse 16. For I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes, to the Jews first, and also to the Greek. So, what about this one? What's the meaning of the gospel? Good. The gospel is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes. These 3 words, except the second, they are these 2 Bible words. They all explained what the euangelion is. So here it's talking about that the gospel is the power of God. The gospel it can, to save everyone that can believe. This is the gospel. The gospel is the truth, the word of truth. The gospel can turn you from the false belief to the true living God. Not only about that, but also the gospel is the power of God. He can save everyone that can believe. So the gospel is the power of God to deliver everyone that believes. If you preach this kind of the gospel, will you feel ashamed? We won't feel ashamed. We can have the confidence that we know we are preaching the truth. We know after our preaching, after our sharing the gospel, we can turn this guy who lived in the darkness, who worship the false god, who live in a vanity's life. We can turn them, deliver them from that to the true living God. Not only that, if they can believe, the power of God can save them, can deliver them from the darkness. The next question is, whose gospel is it? Paul, as a servant of Jesus Christ, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of God. The first idea is the gospel of God. Just now we know what gospel it is. It is the truth. It is can turn the people from the false to the true living God. It also have the God power to save people. And this one, we understand this, we can share the gospel without any shame, because we know it had the power. But we know this gospel is God. It is difference. Why? It is God's people. It is of God. In the whole university, there's no one bigger than him. We know in the ancient time, when the king or the emperor in China, we know that when the king, the emperor, he sent someone to represent him. Or especially go to the location, the different cities. All of them, they will to respect this one. They will listen to whatever he will say, because he is represent the emperor. And now, we preaching the gospel. It is from God. It is of God. It is God's gospel. That's why Paul, he said, I do not ashamed about the gospel. Sometimes, we may be ashamed about that gospel just because we don't realize what the gospel it is, and we don't know whose gospel it is. Even sometimes we understand a little bit. Even sometimes we know it is God, but it is because we don't realize why Paul, he cannot be ashamed about this one. We think maybe we didn't have that kind of power. We didn't have that kind of authority like Paul or like the others. But remember, our authority is not from us. Our authority is from the Word of God, from God Himself. So when we preach the gospel, we don't consider whether this one believes or not. We don't consider whether he will listen to us or not. We just consider whether we are doing the great commission of God, whether we obey Him. If we obey Him, we leave the result to God. He will doing whatever He thinks is right. If we think we preach this one to this one, he will save them. If we credit this to ourselves, that is not only displease God, but also we will have something wrong about us. We didn't do the right things. So the gospel is of God. That will give our strength and confidence. We know we represent God.